Welcome back to Empowerment Within Ministries. I'm Belinda Bouget, and thank you for tuning in for another empowering message that I pray will encourage you, will strengthen you, and inspire you on your life's journey. Today's topic is titled Transforming from Trials to Testing, from Testing to Growing. Wow, what a magnificent topic! And I'm so excited to share it with you. It began during my quiet time with the Lord. And let me just say, there's something about the power of silence when you sit still and hear what the Lord has to say to you. And during this time, He began to reveal to me the last 10 years of my life. Yes, 10 years. So many trials, so many events, so many occurrences that some things I had completely forgotten all about. But I realized that if He's bringing it to my remembrance, there's a message for me to receive. And as I really reflected in depth on some of these occurrences, I was so overwhelmed that all I could say and remember and recall were the words to a song that says, "Somehow I made it. Through it all, God brought me through." I know there's somebody out there that can understand what I'm saying on this. But as I look back and I began to think about some of the times where situations were taking place, I realized that a transformation had occurred in my life. I don't know when the transformation occurred. I can't say it was one specific instance, but what I do know is a change had taken place. There was one that God really magnified for me during this reflection time, and I want to share it with you. I'm sitting in an office and I'm receiving information from an individual, and they are telling me all the negative things that they are saying about me and reporting on me. And we understand who they are, right? They are the individuals that we're supposed to believe are saying these things when in fact it's the person sitting right in front of us. But nevertheless, what happened during this time was the spiritual encounter that I had. It was though I was outside of my own body and I was looking down on this conversation. And what magnified the most to me was my demeanor and how I was responding to what I was hearing. In one ear, I was listening to this individual say these negative things, but in the other ear, I was hearing the voice of the Lord. And He was telling me, keep your mouth shut. Do not defend yourself. Now, let me tell you, that was a hard pill to swallow in my past. But in this very situation, I had no problem being obedient to the Lord. What I learned from this is that although I was in a trial, God was testing the word inside of me. He was testing all that I proclaimed Him to be in my life. And you know who that test was for? It was for me, not for anyone else. He needed me to know that growth had taken place on the inside of me. And although I was in the trial, I was able to hear the voice of the Lord. And I was able to listen clearly and not think what I was hearing was foolish. And then I was able to be obedient and humble myself under the mighty hand of the Lord. So what I realized is, at some point, a transformation had occurred. I moved from focusing on the trial to realizing I was just in a testing phase. And through that testing, growth had occurred. Now you may understand or try to understand, how is this possible? How do I get to a place such as that? Well, first let me explain something. It wasn't all the time. Trust me, There were many times where I needed an attitude adjustment. There were many times where I wasn't obedient, where I said what I wanted to say to who I wanted to say it to. There were many things that occurred where I wasn't obedient unto the Lord. But also I know there were many times where the Lord was well pleased with how I handled the situation because growth had taken place. And so there is no one single path for anyone to take. However, God leads you into the relationship with Him, that's where it begins. And that relationship doesn't mean you will be a Bible scholar. It means that you will live a life in God and He will live in you. It means you will know who God is and He will know you. Let me share a scripture with you. And I recall getting this scripture over 10 years ago, just about. And when I read it, it resonated in my heart at that time because it was a place that I wanted to come to in my walk with Christ. And I memorized this NIV version of Psalms 139, 23, 24. And it says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." Are you ready to transform from your trials to your testing and from your testing to your growing? Until our next empowering message, God bless.